Welcome to the North Dakota 4-H Meat Goat Showmanship educational video. This video is designed to assist youth in learning the ways to become more competitive when exhibiting meat goats. This video is a visual supplement to the North Dakota 4-H Livestock Showmanship Guide, publication GB 092. Showmanship is defined as the skill or the ability of a showman. Showmanship starts from the time that you enter the show ring until the time that you exit. Your first impressions are very powerful, so begin strong. The first thing the judge will see is a youth's desire to win. Your body gestures speak volumes. A person who wants to win is one who is confident, however calm. And we do not want you to be overshowing when showing goats or any other species. Some keys to goat showmanship is about how you enter the ring. Traditionally, you will lead in a clockwise fashion, but you want to know the order in which the judge wants you to set up. Get to that location and set your animal up for exhibition, quickly and confidently. The first person in line sets the line. Everyone else will follow to make sure that line stays straight. Once you've maneuvered yourself into line, you want to make sure that your goat's feet are set squarely but comfortably beneath them. Then, you do this by reaching over top of the goat, not underneath of the goat, to set the legs. Once the legs are set, you're going to want to make sure that the head is held high for impressive appearance to the judge. Do this by placing the choke chain right behind the jawbone of the goat, right into the throat. If it is held in this position, goats will not choke or cough, and so they will hold their head up high and be alert throughout the show. Again, once you're set up, the next thing you want to do is to make sure that you are keeping the goat between you and the judge, and that you want to locate the judge and make sure that they know that you know where they are at. Keep the line straight at all times. Other things to keep in mind about goat showmanship is it's about how you present yourself. You want to make sure that you're in the official dress code, whether that's your green, gray, white, or yellow shirt with the 4-H emblem on, or other dress code that's acceptable to the show management. You want to make sure you have dark, clean jeans on, hard-soled shoes, and maybe a belt. You want to make sure that your clothes are clean, that you're maybe freshly shaven as a younger boy, or girls have got their hair up so the hair does not come down into their face when exhibiting. It's also about how you present your goat. Your goat needs to be clean. One thing we go out on parade is that goats have a tendency to sometimes not always cooperate the way we want, and so how you maneuver the goat and how well they respond to your commands are important. You do have the right to reach back and grab the switch of the goat if in the event the goat is restricting your intentions to move. But once that goat is cooperating again, you want to make sure that your hands go up to the choke chain or halter and keep your hand closest to the goat, being in control of that animal. Again, once you're in line, make sure that your goat is set up. If the goat pulls out of line in front of you to go to a different position, all other exhibitors need to pull forward and fill that gap within the line. Some things that are different even in the meat goat industry is that we do fit the breeding classes differently than the market classes. Breeding classes are more fit like a steer, where we keep the hair long, use a blower to train the hair to go forward, clip the tops so they're flat, and give the goat as much body volume and capacity as possible. You would still clip the front shoulder on forward while leaving the hair on the head long. Just find ways to blend those clipper lines in to where it does not look unnatural. In the market meat goat classes, you want to make sure that you body clip the goats. Traditionally, you would leave an inch or two of the switch on, the hair below the knees, leave that on, as well as the hair on the head of the goat. Everything else is body clipped. Do this probably a week to 2 weeks prior to the show to get the hair to grow back and be somewhat natural in the way that it lays. There's also a difference in the way that we exhibit breeding classes versus market classes. Breeding classes we traditionally will not brace, or if you do, not very hard. On the meat classes, in the market classes, you will brace by keeping the head held up high, leg into the chest of the goat, and have them push slightly forward. You can set the front feet by lifting the front feet just enough to where the front feet set square, but beyond this, the feet need to remain on the ground throughout the remainder of the show. Over bracing your goats have a tendency that the goat will get a weak loin, especially between the loin and the hip, and that can be unnatural and actually cause you points during showmanship as well. We have gotten accustomed to using chain halters or other halters to lead goats. This actually gives you more control as an exhibitor because the goats are going to respond better to your commands. However, when leading from the right, you will be required to reach across the head of the goat, which will give you somewhat of an uncomfortable feeling at times. Outweigh the pros and cons of whether a choke collar or a halter is best fit for you. If you are getting into showmanship, you may be asked to switch to a different goat and lead that individual. In this particular case, you would make sure that you treat that goat the way that it's, what class it would be in. So if it's a breeding class or a market class, make sure you know the differences in the way to exhibit those. And again, you always want to make sure that the first thing that you do is you set those feet and get the head set and make sure that it's appropriate for exhibition. Goats sometimes do resist the exhibitor. You do want to make sure you stay in line and not cause any disruption to the class. When goats do become unruly, it's important that you do not lose your composure because judges are evaluating you on your demeanor as well. You want to make sure that if the goat asks you to, or if the judge asks you to move, that you're timely in your responses. Questions are also fair game in goat showmanship. Questions might relate to, if you were to change the physical appearance of your goat, what would you change? What does the AGBA acronym stand for? What are you feeding your goat? And you'll want to answer this in ounces or pounds fed per day of the particular feed in which you are utilizing. Again, I think the big thing you want to keep in mind about meat goat showmanship, it's really about your mannerisms. Make sure that you are being professional. Make sure that the goat's responding to you, that you're responding to the commands of the judge at all times, and that you always keep the goat between you and the judge. As the judges moved off to the left side of the goats, the exhibitors are going to be requested to move to the right side of the goat as they approach the judge to make sure that the judge has a full body view of that animal. This is done in a very natural and calm manner as you move from side to side. Being abrupt is an indication of uncomfort level of the exhibitor. Goats have a tendency to want to lead with the exhibitor on the left, and they're more natural. Another thing to keep in mind is that judges will traditionally utilize the same show pattern throughout the day, and so make sure that you follow the first class. So we want you to stay calm and enjoy your goat showing experience.